Beloved, the world you behold with your physical eyes is but the shadow cast by the unseen movements of your mind. If you wish to multiply your income, do not look to the world of effects. Turn instead to the root, your consciousness. Understand this simple truth. Your consciousness is the cause, the source, the fountainhead of your wealth. It is not your job, not the economy, not circumstance that determines your income. It is your inner state. If you would change the fruits, you must first change the tree. Do not beg, do not strive in the outer world. Assume the feeling of wealth now. Let it saturate your mind as dew upon the morning grass. Feel yourself to already be the prosperous one you desire to become. Let no sense of lack linger in your heart. In imagination, you are already that which you seek. Live in the end. Walk this day as the one whose income is multiplied beyond measure. How would you feel? How would you speak? How would you move if your financial reality were already abundant? Capture that feeling. Wear it like a robe. Trust it. Banish doubt from your temple. Doubt is the silent thief that steals your riches. Faith, simple and unwavering, is the magnet that draws the unseen into the seen. Your belief is the bridge over which your multiplied income shall pass. Give thanks now, not later. Gratitude for the riches you do not yet see declares your absolute trust. It quickens the harvest. It turns the invisible seeds into the visible fruits. And, above all, persist. When shadows of old poverty arise to frighten you, return again to your vision. See only the end. See only abundance. Cling to it with the fierce love of a mother for her child. Nothing can stand before a mind so anchored. Your income shall multiply as surely as the dawn follows the night. Not because you strive harder, but because you awaken to who you are. The creator of wealth, the cause of every effect. The riches you seek are seeking you. Receive them now, within, and they shall surely appear without. It is already done. Everything that you call wealth, abundance, and success is not created by the outer world. It is born from within you. Your consciousness is the true source of wealth. When you look to outer circumstances and judge them to be the cause of your financial condition, you are deceived by appearances. Nothing external has ever created lasting wealth for anyone. True riches emerge from an invisible, internal power that moves through your being. When you understand that consciousness is the only reality, you cease to give power to the world of effects. You stop believing that jobs, opportunities, markets, or people have the final say over your income. Instead, you turn inward and recognize that the life you experience is but the reflection of your inner assumptions. If you desire to multiply your income, you must first multiply the wealth of your consciousness. You must saturate your mind with the awareness that you are already the possessor of great abundance. This awareness is not something you fight for or struggle to achieve. It is something you quietly accept. You allow yourself to be wealthy inwardly before you ever see it externally. You begin to feel rich in your heart, generous in your spirit, expansive in your imagination. And when you consistently dwell in this feeling, when you make it natural to yourself, the outer world cannot help but rearrange itself to match your inner state. To look at the world for confirmation before you believe is to live backward. You must first believe. You must first feel. You must first know within yourself, and then the evidence will come. This is the law. It has always been so. Wealth does not flow to the anxious, the doubting, the desperate. It flows effortlessly to the one who knows he already possesses it. You are the only creator in your experience. Your thoughts, your assumptions, your inner conversations are forming your world moment by moment. If you dwell in thoughts of lack, you will see lack spring up around you, no matter how much you toil and labor. But if you dwell in thoughts of sufficiency, if you imagine yourself surrounded by more than enough, if you see yourself as a blessing and a magnet for abundance, then the world must mirror that back to you in ways you cannot now foresee. Do not waste your energy fighting outer conditions. Do not complain about the smallness of your paycheck or the scarcity of opportunities. Every complaint is an act of giving power to the illusion. Instead, turn inward. Spend your energy fortifying the inner vision of wealth. Each time you feel tempted to believe in lack, quietly return to the truth. Your consciousness is the cause, and wealth is already yours in the unseen. There is no outer power that can stand against the one who has mastered the inner world. No economy, no employer, no so-called limitation can resist the force of a mind saturated in abundance. The world is plastic to your inner command. It bends, it reshapes, it reforms to make visible what you have claimed in the silence of your heart. All the riches you seek are already yours in potential. They are waiting not in some distant future, but in your present assumption. When you occupy the state of wealth, when you see yourself as wealthy without needing the world to first affirm it, you set in motion unseen currents that bring the visible manifestation. You move from effort to ease, from hoping to knowing. Accept now without reservation that your consciousness is the source of every dollar, every opportunity, every blessing that will ever come into your life. Nothing is withheld from you except that which you withhold in thought. Release all belief in limitation. Embrace the truth of your inner power. Wealth flows from you as naturally as breath, as inevitably as sunrise. When you know this, you will never again fear lack. You will simply create abundance from within, again and again, as easily as you dream. Before anything appears in the outer world, it must first exist within you. To live as a prosperous being, you must first assume the identity of one in your own mind and imagination. It is not enough to wish for wealth, to admire it from afar, or to wait patiently for it to arrive. You must become it. You must so completely embody the feeling of being prosperous that it becomes your natural state of being, regardless of any appearances to the contrary. Imagination is the womb of creation. Everything you now see, touch, and experience was first imagined, first felt, first accepted internally. Wealth is no different. It must be felt as a present reality long before the evidence of it comes into view. You must ask yourself quietly, if I were already the prosperous one I desire to be, how would I feel? How would I think? How would I move through this day? How would I speak to others? How would I treat myself? Answering these questions, not with mere words but with deep feeling, unlocks the door to a new reality. The feeling is the secret. When you can inwardly walk as the wealthy being, when you can inwardly hear others speaking words of congratulations, when you can inwardly see yourself living the life you have chosen, you have assumed the identity. And once assumed, it must express itself outwardly, for the inner world and the outer world are not two, but one. You are not pretending, you are not lying to yourself. You are simply claiming what is eternally yours. Imagination is more real than the facts you currently observe. The facts are only the echoes of former beliefs. They have no true power except that which you grant them. But the imaginal act, performed in faith and persistence, is the true cause of all outer effects. Feel yourself already surrounded by riches, not with desperate longing, but with quiet assurance. In your private moments, sit still and bring to mind scenes that would only be true if you were already prosperous. Do not merely think about them. Enter into them, live them out inwardly until they take on the tones of reality. Smell the scents, hear the sounds, touch the textures of your imagined wealth. Make it so vivid that the senses are tricked into believing it is now. The world outside will resist at first, for it reflects the patterns you have long held within, but hold your new identity in imagination no matter what. When faced with challenges, return to your inner vision. When outer facts seem stubborn, return to your inner knowing. Refuse to accept anything contrary to the prosperity you have claimed. You must dare to believe that you are what your senses deny. You must dare to stand firm in your assumption, even when every voice around you would call you foolish. For the unseen reality, faithfully sustained, will harden into fact. What you feel inwardly must project itself outwardly in time. In this silent, powerful way, you multiply your income, you transform your life, and you realize the truth, that you were never separate from abundance. You only had to claim it by assuming its feeling within. To live in the end is to anchor yourself firmly in the reality of your fulfilled desire. It is to think from the place where what you long for is already accomplished, not as a wish, but as a fact. If you desire greater income, you must cease thinking of it as something that is coming, and instead experience it inwardly as something that already is. You must move your mind and feelings to the place where abundance is your normal, everyday reality. The great mistake most people make is to think of their desires. They observe the lack, they notice the absence, and they hope for a change. But hope is not creation. Creation begins when you think from your desire, when you feel from the state of already having. Living in the end means you make no room for doubt. You no longer question when or how it will come. You move, speak, and imagine as one who already possesses everything they seek. If you seek a greater income, imagine yourself now in a state where it is already yours. Picture yourself handling larger amounts of money with ease and familiarity. Hear yourself speaking about your successes naturally and casually. Feel the relief and satisfaction of knowing your needs are met abundantly, not someday, but now. Act inwardly as one who knows there is no longer a question of if, there is only the experience of if. Living in the end demands that you refuse to entertain appearances that suggest otherwise. When the senses try to tell you that you are lacking, you calmly turn away and reaffirm the unseen truth. You stay faithful to your assumption, for the outer world must conform to the inner state. Given persistence and faith, the law is impersonal and unfailing. What you accept inwardly must in time express itself outwardly. It is not a matter of straining or forcing. It is a matter of alignment. You align your mind with the feeling of being already prosperous. You make decisions from that place. You speak from that place. You walk through life carrying the invisible assurance that your world is already changed, even if the shadows of the old still linger for a moment. Think of yourself as already successful. See the bank account full. Feel the security, the freedom, the generosity that wealth allows. Smile inwardly at the thought that it is already done. When you are tempted to worry or doubt, gently but firmly return to the end. Remind yourself that you are not moving toward abundance. You are moving from it. You are carrying it within you now. Told me this practice is not a one-time event, but a way of life. Every morning, awaken with the consciousness of already being who you desire to be. Every night, fall asleep in the feeling that you're already living the life you imagined. Throughout the day, catch yourself if you slip into old patterns of lack and lovingly guide yourself back to the end. It is not by force, but by faith that you create. Faith is simply assuming that what is unseen is more real than what is seen. And in time, what was once unseen will clothe itself in form and become the fact of your life. When you live in the end, you step into the timeless realm where all things are already accomplished. You move beyond waiting and wishing. You become the cause of your reality, not the victim of circumstances. And as you persist in this inner knowing, the world, in its perfect timing, reshapes itself around your conviction. The income you desire, the abundance you seek, the freedom you long for, it is already yours. Live from that truth, breathe from that truth, think from that truth. And in the silence, without effort, you will see your world blossom in ways more wonderful than you could have planned. Doubt is the thief that steals your treasures before they can arrive. It stands at the doorway of your mind, whispering reasons why your desires are too big, too difficult, too far away. Doubt paralyzes the creative act. It is not life itself that withholds from you, but your own hesitation to believe that what you seek is already yours. Every time you entertain doubt, you send a message to the unseen world that you are uncertain, and uncertainty delays the arrival of all that you desire. Faith, on the other hand, moves mountains. Faith is the unwavering knowing that what you have assumed in your heart is already accomplished, even if the senses scream otherwise. Faith is not passive, it is not idle hoping. Faith is dynamic. It sees what is invisible and claims it with boldness. It speaks the unseen into being, not by pleading, but by standing firm in the conviction that the unseen is more real than the seen. To multiply your income, to increase the flow of abundance in your life, you must drop doubt entirely. Not wrestle with it, not fight it, simply let it go, like dropping a heavy burden you no longer wish to carry. It serves you no longer. Doubt only prolongs the journey, places unnecessary obstacles on the path, and creates a fog where clarity should reign. When you embrace faith, you step into a current of life that moves swiftly and powerfully. Faith quickens the manifestation of your desires because it aligns you perfectly with the creative power within. It is through faith that the unseen becomes seen. It is through unwavering belief that your assumption hardens into fact. Doubt hesitates, faith claims. Doubt asks how and when. Faith knows now and already. You are always creating by what you believe. Whether you believe in delay or in immediacy, you are right. Whether you believe in lack or in abundance, you are right. Life mirrors your dominant assumptions without error. If you would see rapid multiplication in your income, you must assume the feeling of already possessing it, and you must remain loyal to that assumption. This loyalty is tested not when things are easy, but when appearances suggest otherwise. In these moments, you must turn even more inward, refusing to be swayed by outer facts. The world will try to show you evidence of the old reality, but you must smile inwardly, knowing it is only the echo of past beliefs. Faith does not waver in the face of appearances. Faith sustains the imaginal act until the world catches up. When you drop doubt and embrace faith, you become a vessel for miracles. You move through life with an invisible power, a calm authority that knows everything is working together for your good. You no longer plead for things to change. You know they already have. You no longer watch the clock. You know time itself bends to the strength of your belief. The mind that doubts is divided. It pulls in opposing directions and exhausts itself. But the mind filled with faith is single-minded, focused, powerful. It is like a river that carves through stone, steady, unstoppable, inevitable. Stand guard at the door of your mind. Do not permit doubt to enter. When it tries, gently but firmly replace it with faith. Speak to yourself with words of certainty. See yourself already possessing all that you desire. Feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude of it now, and know that the world must respond. The multiplication of your income, the expansion of your life, the fulfillment of your dreams, they are all awaiting the firm, unwavering assumption of their reality. Drop doubt completely. Embrace faith entirely, and watch as the invisible becomes visible before your eyes, swiftly and effortlessly. Gratitude is not merely a polite habit, nor is it an empty ritual of saying thank you for what is already in hand. True gratitude is a mighty force, a spiritual magnet that draws the unseen into the seen, the invisible into form. It is the secret language of the soul that acknowledges the reality of abundance before it takes shape in the material world. When you practice gratitude, for that which you have not yet touched, you accelerate its arrival, for you are signaling to the universe that you already possess it in consciousness. The world mirrors your inner state. If you walk through life feeling grateful only for what your senses can confirm, you live as a prisoner of the visible. But when you give thanks for the things your heart has seen, but your eyes have not yet beheld, you rise above appearances and enter the creative realm where all things are possible. Gratitude for the unseen is the evidence of your faith. It is the song you sing to the invisible forces that are already at work on your behalf. If you desire to multiply your income, if you long to live in greater abundance, begin now to feel profound gratitude for the wealth that is yours in spirit. Thank life itself for your overflowing bank account, your increasing opportunities, your expanding success. Give thanks for the security, the freedom, the generosity that abundance allows. Though the evidence may not yet be visible, your inner thanksgiving declares that it is already so. Gratitude fuels creation because it carries with it the energy of fulfillment. It says, "It is done." It says, "I have received." And what you claim internally must eventually find its reflection in your external world. Life responds to the heart that is full, not the heart that is needy. When you express gratitude for unseen riches, you declare yourself already abundant, already blessed, already favored, and the universe rushes to confirm your declaration. It is easy to fall into the trap of waiting for more money, waiting for better circumstances, waiting for visible signs before allowing yourself to feel thankful. But waiting postpones the blessing. Gratitude hastens it. When you are grateful now, you collapse the distance between yourself and your desire. You live from the end instead of toward it. Make gratitude a daily practice, not as a mechanical exercise, but as a deep, sincere recognition of your power to create. Each morning, before your feet touch the ground, speak words of thanksgiving for the life you are building. Each evening, as you close your eyes, let your last thoughts be filled with gratitude for the invisible gifts gathering themselves to you. Throughout the day, when fear or doubt tries to creep in, answer it with thanks. Say within yourself, "Thank you, life, for the abundance already mine. Thank you for the income multiplying even now. Thank you for the unseen forces arranging everything perfectly." Ingratitude closes the door. It shuts down the flow. It focuses on what is missing, and what you focus on, you grow. Gratitude swings the door wide open. It magnifies the good and makes room for more. It lifts you into the feeling of already being blessed beyond measure, and this feeling creates your world. The riches you seek are not distant or reluctant. They are here, waiting for the signal that you are ready to receive. Gratitude is that signal. It is the invitation you send to the invisible realm to bring forth its treasures into your experience. Be rich in gratitude now, and you will soon be rich in every visible way. Let gratitude not be something you reserve for special occasions, but the very atmosphere you live and breathe. For to the grateful heart, life gives endlessly, joyfully, and without limit. Persistence is the golden key that unlocks all treasures. It is not enough to imagine once and hope that it will be enough. Life demands loyalty to your inner vision, a steadfastness of mind that does not falter no matter what the outer world reports. The world of appearances will test your resolve. It will offer evidence that nothing is changing. It will whisper doubts and invite you to surrender your dream. But to those who persist, who return again and again to their mental picture of abundance, the reward is certain. Creation begins within. All that you see around you was first born in unseen realms, and it is the unseen world of your imagination that holds the seed of your wealth, your success, your multiplied income. When you dwell consistently in the feeling of abundance, when you nourish the inner vision with attention and love, you water the seed. In its own appointed season, it must bloom. But the impatient mind wants instant proof. It grows weary if the senses do not quickly confirm the change. And in this impatience, it uproots the seed before it has a chance to bear fruit. Persistence means refusing to dig up your dream. It means holding the vision steady, serenely, joyfully, as though it were already fact. There will be days when the bank account looks unchanged. There will be moments when no new opportunities seem to appear. These are the moments that matter most. In such moments, the undisciplined mind gives up, says it's not working, and returns to the old pattern. But the persistent soul smiles inwardly, knowing that the unseen processes are at work, that the invisible roots are growing deep, preparing to burst forth into visible life. The outer world is merely the echo of past assumptions. It is always a little behind the present moment of consciousness. To live by appearances is to live chained to the past. To live by inner vision is to live free, creating anew each day. When you find yourself tempted to worry, to doubt, to complain, immediately return to your inner vision. See yourself as already abundant. Feel the security, the freedom, the joy of multiplied income. Walk mentally in the world you are creating. Speak, act, and think from the place where your dream is already realized. Persistence is not struggle. It is not forcing or efforting. It is quiet, confident dwelling in the desired state. It is choosing again and again to identify with the reality you have imagined rather than the shadows of the old. It is a gentle but firm discipline, like training a wild horse to move in a new direction. Every time you return to your mental picture of abundance, you are strengthening it. Every time you refuse to be moved by appearances, you are aligning more deeply with the truth of your inner reality. And eventually, the outer world must conform. It must rearrange itself to reflect the image you have held unwaveringly within. You are not asking for abundance, you are creating it. You are not waiting for wealth, you are embodying it. The persistent assumption becomes the experienced fact. Life cannot deny the one who refuses to let go of their vision. Let your inner world be so vivid, so alive, so real to you that it becomes more substantial than anything your senses report. Let the feeling of abundance be your constant companion. Let the mental image of wealth, freedom, and success be etched so deeply into your heart that no external circumstance can shake it. This is the art of persistence. This is the way of true creation. To return again and again to the vision, not with anxiety but with joy, not with desperation but with calm certainty, until the invisible becomes visible, until the unseen becomes seen, until the imagined becomes the world in which you live. The power to multiply your income, to transform your financial life, does not lie in the outer world. It lives within you. Your consciousness is the only true source of wealth. By assuming the identity of one who is already prosperous, by living in the end and refusing to doubt, you become the embodiment of abundance itself. Through gratitude for unseen riches and unwavering persistence in your inner vision, you create a life where wealth is not a distant hope but a present reality. It does not matter what the world says. It does not matter what appearances seem to be. You are the operant power. You are the dreamer and the maker of dreams. When you live from your vision and not toward it, you transcend time itself and draw the invisible riches into visible form. The laws of life are simple. What you imagine, feel, and persist in believing, you will inevitably experience.